Okay, hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of my... Okay, g'day everyone. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to lesson 2, which is the introduction to Rekordbox. So today, in today's lesson, I'm going to be going through everything about Rekordbox and what it is, showing you exactly what to do and just how everything works inside the application really. So by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to recognize and interpret the layout and features of the Rekordbox program. You'll be able to understand how to successfully import and export music. You'll understand how to set memory and hot cue points, and the advantage and disadvantages of each type of thing. So advantages and disadvantages of memory points and cue points. Create a folder or playlist of songs and use them in 2-player mode to justify whether they're going to suit a transition or not. And fixing and correlating beat grids when Rekordbox occasionally does not analyze the song correctly. So that happens from time to time, and I'll show you how to fix that problem. But overall, I'll just be going through the whole of Rekordbox and everything that you need to know to make it easy for you when you start out using it. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So before I go into anything else, I'm going to show you where to actually download Rekordbox from. So Rekordbox, you just need to type in Rekordbox into Google, and then it will show you this screen here. So all you have to do is go to free to download, and that's pretty much it. Just go to this page. You can press agree on the licensing terms and agreement and stuff like that. And there's all sorts of different downloads. You can get the Mac OS downloads or Windows, and yeah, you can also, if you go further into the site, instead of downloading the up-to-date version, you can actually download previous versions of the software as well. Some people prefer to not update sometimes, or to use older updates, just because sometimes there's new bugs that are introduced every so often, or something isn't quite right with the new update. So for example, on my old laptop, I've still got 5 point something or other on mine, because I just never got around to updating it and can't really be bothered, to be honest. Nah, for real, yeah, sometimes it comes out with some bugs and stuff like that. So on this computer now, I don't even have the updated version, because they bring out a new update every bloody month or so like that. So sometimes it's just annoying and you don't do it. Sometimes you hear about bugs and some sort of problems where it's not really worth updating. You also can buy Rekordbox now, so you can do a subscription plan, which just gives you a few additional features and stuff like that. On to the next part of our lesson. So Rekordbox in itself is actually the program that you need to use as a DJ if you're going to be using decks that require like a USB input kind of thing. So any sort of decks that will require you to only have a USB and plug that USB in, that's why you need Rekordbox. Or if you also have a Rekordbox controller, so like a really small $200 deck, sometimes they're controlled by the Rekordbox program. You just plug the laptop into them. So let's get cracking on with the first thing that I've got listed here. So importing music. So when importing music, it's important to remember that you need a source file. So whether it's on the actual computer itself or on a hard drive. So a source file, for example, is something like this. So I've got my music folder here, so my PC here. Go into my music folder, and this is my source file. This is where I have all of my music stored on my computer. So that's my source file where I can then drag my music. So for example, I did it earlier, let's do it again. Let's grab a bit of ABBA. So I'm going to grab it and drag it into the Rekordbox program, into the collection. So that's my source file. I've got the song from my source file in my computer. So moving on. Yeah, so I prefer to import my music to the main collection and then transfer it into the playlist folders. So what I've done there is I transferred it into the collection, into this tab here, so it's appeared here, and now once we have that in the collection, that means it's kind of stored in the Rekordbox scheme of things. So now we can drag that into a certain genre. So I know Dancing Queen isn't tech house, But I know one of the other tracks on here, by the way, I just freshly downloaded Rekordbox, so that's why I've got no songs on it. Chris Lake Salado, I know that's a tech house tune, so I'm going to go over to this genre section here and double click it, and I'm going to put tech house, and then drag it over into my playlist over here, tech house. So it's all just clicking and dragging really. So we're going to go into that further, but let's stick with that for now, okay? So you need the source file, and I think it's important to drag it into the collection folder first. Alright, so let's go through and have a look at pretty much everything in Rekordbox before we really get into the nitty-gritty side of things, okay? So what I want you to do is follow the instructions I give you here, because it's going to make it a lot easier for when you're going through Rekordbox in the future. So with Rekordbox, there's a few shortcuts that you can make on the keyboard that are going to make life a lot easier when you're using the music and making cue points and stuff like that. So you're going to go into File, and then you're going to go into Preferences. So in Preferences, we have everything that is related to the setting up of the Rekordbox pretty much, and everything to do with, you know, AV sets, or, you know, so you can use your lighting rigs and stuff like that. But we're not going to go into that kind of stuff today. But just for now, I wanted to show you the keyboard settings panel. So first of all, we're going to go into View. So this can be quite handy. So when you first install Rekordbox, it's not going to have very good shortcuts that are easy to remember and easy to use. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go down to Toggle the Layout, Decks and Browse Screen. And you're going to want to press plus, and it says, please press a key combination now. So while that screen's up like that, you're going to press Tab. And I've already got it assigned to mine, so that's why this is coming up, and press OK. And if you need to do this, press Reassign. So now it should come up with Tab here, which means if I exit this, if I press Tab, it's going to allow me to see between the decks that I have up here, so the mixer, and between my library. So it's super handy for if you're sorting through all of your music and trying to make playlists and stuff like that, so you have a bigger view of all the songs in your library. Very handy thing to have. Okay, so back into Preferences again now, and we're going to go into Deck 1. So Deck 1 is the top deck that we have all the music in. So, sorry, I'm just going to exit out of that real quick. So we've got Deck 1 up here, it's this long one, and you've got Deck 2, which is the second one here. So we've got Deck 1, the long one at the top, Deck 2 is the long one at the bottom. Just going to exit out of that one. Alright, so into Preferences, Deck 1. Okay, so this is very important. So you're going to want to do that again. So press plus on the first one, play and pause. You want to make that your space bar. It's super easy, super handy. You would think it would be space bar to begin with, but a lot of the times when you install Rekordbox, it's not space bar. Then Q, you want that to be C, so go through again, do all the things, make that your button C. So then the other one you want to make sure you have is, you want to go down to set hot Q A, B, C and D. It should already come like this in Rekordbox, but just in case it isn't, set it to 1, 2, 3 and 4 just like I've done here. Makes it a lot easier when you're setting your hot cues in the future. And the other one is for setting the memory cues and deleting the memory cues. So set memory cue, you want to set that to M, so M for memory, super easy. And when you're deleting memory cues, you want to do Control M, so set that for that one there. And I think that's all I'm going to show you for now, because that's the main ones you're going to be using all the time, and they're going to make it super easy and convenient for you when you're going through and setting up your music in the future. Okay, so now that we've gone through the preferences, let's have a look at the top here. So we've got it in performance mode right now, so that's the mode that I prefer to stay in when I'm organizing my music and trying to set my cue points and going through my songs pretty much. We also have export up here. So export is good for using two-player mode, which we'll go through a little bit later on. And that's also very handy. Well, it's pretty much what you have to use to export your music onto your USBs. So we'll go through that a little bit later as well. So that's those two. Lighting and edit, we don't really have to worry about those right now because it's not really important for what I'm trying to teach here, which is, you know, a beginner's DJ course. I'm getting you started on everything and going through all the basics. So, okay. So we have the player one here. So track one is already inserted. All you have to do is click and drag it, boom, and we're going like this. So now we've got the space bar as our play button. Just going to turn it up a little bit. Okay, so you can press play again to pause it. So now here we have a hot cue list here. So to set a hot cue, all you have to do is press, oh wait, so we'll go over this a bit later. First of all, I'm just going to go through everything. So that's our hot cue menu. And to get to the memory cue menu, all you have to do is go down here and memory cue down the bottom. That's how you get to the memory cues. Keep that in mind for a bit later when we go through it. So, and then we come down here to this button here, and it allows you to actually edit the structure of the song a little bit. So editing what the first bar is or the point where the bars hit. Okay, so we'll go through that a bit later as well. And then down here in this section we have the collection panel. So this is where all of our tracks are. So I'm pressing tab right now to switch through, you know, going through the mixer and the browser. So we've got, at the moment, we've got the preview, we've got the artwork, we've got the track title, we've got the artist, album, genre, BPM, rating, time, and key. So I know that I don't usually use the rating column. So what you can do is you can actually right click up the top here and you can get rid of that by just left clicking on rating. So now that's gone. I also, a lot of the time, don't tend to use album, so I might get rid of that as well, although, you know, it's each to their own. This is just a preference column, you know, it's just whatever you prefer. So I prefer having the preview, don't really need the artwork, the track title, the artist, the genre, the BPM, the time, and the key. Don't really need date added. But this key is quite hard to read for someone who doesn't know a lot about music theory. So yeah, for someone who is not really musically knowledgeable, the key right here is quite hard to read. So what we can do is we can go back into our preferences again, and we can go into view, where we already are, and we can go right down to here where it says key display format, and we can just press on alphanumeric. So we're going to press on that and X, which will take us to the Camelot wheel system, which I believe we looked at in the last episode. So remember, 2B can go with 3B or 1B, or it can go with 2A. So it makes it super easy to be able to mix in key instead of trying to understand which you know, keys in regards to F minor or B major, etc. You know, going to go together. It's quite hard that way. So we've got all those columns up the top now in our preferred, sorry, not in my preferred order. So these aren't in my preferred order. So I prefer to have the track title, then the genre, then the artist. All you have to do is click and drag. So click and drag, and you can actually move those things around. So moving on. So we can actually create crates. They're called crates and playlists. So right here I've got a crate called genres. So this is going to make it a lot more organized for you because my Rekordbox on my other laptop is absolutely atrocious. So I've got genres here. So I've got tech house. And so if I wanted to make another playlist for a different genre, all I have to do is press the plus sign, and I might name this one hip hop. So I can do that again. I might press it again. I might name the next genre D&B, drum and bass. Or maybe the next one pop. So just going through a few genres there, making the playlist, and then you can fill those playlists with songs from the collection that fit those genres. So if I want to make another crate, all I have to do is go to playlist and then right click and put create new folder. So now for this one, I might do another folder. Let's say I might do specific gigs. Because what you might do is you might want to actually pre-make a playlist for a specific gig that matches the vibe of that gig. So I can put, for example, I play at a summer festival here called Factory Festival. So I'm going to make mine Factory Festival 2021. And then I might go through from my collection and add a few songs in. So for example, I know Speakerphone could be the kind of vibe for a main stage at Factory Festival. So I'll go and click and drag that one in and boom. So we can just keep on doing that, okay? Just makes it a lot more organized using those crates and then using the genres, the playlists under the crates. Okay, so let's go back to our PowerPoint document here. Alright guys, sorry to cut the lesson short there. If you want to learn more about this subject or more about DJing, head down to the link in the description, which is beginnerdjcourse.com. On my website, you can find out lots more about how to DJ and all the things you'll need to learn to go from zero to someone who's ready to play at music festivals and clubs and events. See ya!